In this section, we will look at the profitability and the liquidity ratios. So it's very important that you know what the difference are. So if we look at the profitability ratios, it consists of the following: the gross profit percentage, it consists of your net profit percentage, and then you've got the return on average owner's equity. Okay, in this case, you can actually, just by reading the name, you will know what it means. So percentage, it means that it has to be a percentage. Net profit means it needs to be a percentage. And then the return of owner's equity also has to be a percentage. So now you have your gross profit. So your gross profit percentage will be your gross profit over your total sales times it by 100 over 1 to get your percentage. Then the next one, your net profit, it will be your net profit over your total sales. Remember, it's percentage, so you times it 100 over 1 to get your percentage. Then the last one, it says return on average owner's equity. So they need to give you average owner's equity. It's going to be divided by 2 years because it's average. So if you ever see average, it will always be 2. So your calculation is going to be your net profit over your average owner's equity times it by 100 over 1 to get your percentage. Now, when you interpret this section, you will always have to refer back by the previous year. So you will have a 2022 value that they will give to you. So that will be given. And then 2023, you need to calculate. That means you use the 2023 figures in your calculation by describing it, but you refer back to 2022. So you will say, in 2022, the gross profit percentage was 20%, but it increased in 2023 to 23%. So you can say that your gross profit has increased and your total sales has decreased. So that means all your profit sale could have stayed the same, but you would have had discount that you gave. That's when your percentage will increase. Your net profit, the same year, exactly as the beginning, it's also your sales. You could have had discount, or you could have had a lot more gross profit. So your net profit in this area is your net profit could have been higher, and then total sales could have been less. And remember, you've got given 2022, but 2023 you had to calculate. Remember, always use your figures in the section. If you don't use figures, you will not get your marks. Same with the net profit average owner's equity. You will have a 2022 value given to you, and then your 2023 you need to use in terms to explain what happened. Did it increase or decrease, and why it might have increased or decreased. So your net profit could have increased and your owner's equity could have stayed the same, or your owner's equity has decreased. That's why the percentage is higher. The next section we will look at the liquidity. Ratios. Okay, so liquidity ratios consist of the following. It consists of your current ratio. It consists of your asset test ratio that can also be named as the quick ratio. Then you've got your average debtors collection, period. Then you've got your average creditors collection, period. And then you've got your average inventory turnover. Okay, just going to explain quickly to you guys which one, just to get back to the different liquidity ratios. The average debtors collection period is how long it takes to get your debtors to pay. Your average creditors is how quick you pay them, and the average inventory turnover is how quickly you need to reorder stock. So debtors collection, you want that to be 30 days. You want cash flow, so the sooner they pay, the better. Average creditors collection is 60 days or more, so you want to keep your money as long as possible. And then average inventory turnover, you don't want to order stock too often. It's very costly and it's unnecessary unless your stock has expiry dates that you need to do your stock turnover very quickly. Okay, so if we look at the current ratio, it will be your current assets to your current liabilities. Okay, so it needs to be x to 1. So it means, for example, your current liabilities is 300,000 and your current assets is 300,000, your current liabilities is 600,000. You need to divide on your current liabilities as 600,000 to get 1. And then you have to divide on 600,000 on the other side to get 0.5. Then you know that you can't cover your liabilities with the amount of current assets that you have. But if you have, for example, 1.2 million current assets, that means it's 2 to 1. That means you can cover your liabilities 2 times with your assets. So if you can cover your liabilities with your assets, that's a good thing. If you can't cover your liabilities with your assets, that means you're going to have a problem. So then it is not a good ratio for the company. Okay, if we look at the asset test ratio, the asset test ratio is your current assets, but you have to minus your inventory to your current liabilities. Okay, that means current assets, say for example, 1.3 million. Your inventory was 100,000. Okay, that will give you 1.2 million. And the ratio of 600,000. So it means 600,000. Remember, your current liabilities needs to be 1, so you have to divide with your current liabilities with 600,000 and 600,000 on your current assets minus your inventory, so you will get 2 in ratio of 1. That means also you can cover your liabilities with 2 times with your you can cover your liabilities 2 times with your assets. Okay, if we look at the average debtors collection period. Okay. It means your average trade receivable over your credit sales times 365 days. Okay, for this example, you use 365 days. So average trade receivables, you will have a half bracket. Then you're going to have 2022 plus the 2023 year over your credit sales times 360. So for example, you've got a half. In 2022, it was one, let's say it was 500,000. And then in the second year, it was 700,000 over your credit sales. So for example, it will be, say, 200,000 times 365. So that means that we've got 700 plus the 500. That gives us 1,200. So it's 1.2 million divided times by half over 200,000 times 365. So if we do the calculations, we've got 1.2 million 6.5 divided by 200,000. You get 3 times the 365 over 1. You get 1095 days that you get for your debtors collection. So that is way too much. So you don't want that. You want 30 days. So it means that this company needs to make a huge adjustment to its debtors collection period. So it means that all the outstanding debtors that has longer than 60 days need to be informed, and then interest needs to be levied, or you get a collection person that go and collect the money for you. So there is a way that you need to implement that method. Okay, for average creditors settlement period, it's similar to your average debtors collection period. It will only have your average rate payables over your credit purchases. Don't forget purchases with your creditors, and with your debtors, it will be your credit sales. So it's still the average, so you have a half times it by the 2022 plus the 2023 years over your credit purchase times it by 365 days over 1. So always you use your 2 years. We will always give you a 2-year value to calculate this ratio. Okay, the last ratio we're going to look at, it will be your average inventory turnover. It will be your cost of sales over your average inventory, and then it equals to a certain amount of times you're going to order. So it will be cost of sales over a half times your 2022 plus your 2023 inventory values, and that will equals how many times you're going to order your stock. I hope that there's a bit more clarity on this section and that you understand it a lot more.